Hey guys, Coach Gans here. Well, it's fall season. We're going to be there in a couple of weeks, and we've just got so many parents and students of ours, just kind of scrambling in their communities, calling us, emailing us, asking what the right thing to do for fall ball. So I just want to kind of give you my 2 cents. Fall ball's a little bit like the Wild Wild West. I mean, there's not a lot of communities don't do fall ball, so kids are kind of forced to go outside the community, play some sort of travel ball. A lot of, if you don't panic, if your community doesn't allow for fall ball, usually a surrounding community, knowing that will allow your players to play in their community fall ball program. What we hear the most from our parents is that the fall ball seems to have so very little structure to it that the serious players tend to get a little frustrated around the fall and often are looking for something a little better. The big thing that we hear from everybody is, well, do you play up or do you play down or play where you're at, stay at the level you're at for fall? What do you do? What level do you really is good to pursue in the fall? So I'm going to kind of give you my insight as to what I think is best. Obviously I think every player, what's best for one player isn't going to be best for the next. But the player in transition, I think, is the guy that typically falls between the cracks a little bit. So what I want you to think about is if your player, let's say, is on the 46, 60 type basis, or even if you're in that, I think it's 50-70 that they play at in Ripken and some of the other leagues. If you are in a transition period where next spring you're going to be playing up on the full-size diamond, the 60-90 full-size field, in many cases it can be very beneficial for you in the fall to go ahead and play up. So typically in our area, let's say if you're a 12U player and you're going to be going into that Babe Ruth age, a 13-year-old player, or possibly play for your middle school next spring, it may be a good fit for you to play up as a 13U player in the fall, even though you're only a 12-year-old player. We even have some students that are 11 that tend to want to play up onto that. Now again, for pitching, I don't recommend an 11-year-old kid going up and throwing at 60-foot base pass pitching mound, but what we do is we have a lot of even 11-year-old players that play on that 50-foot pitching there, the 50-70, and they want to challenge themselves a little bit in the fall. I don't highly recommend it, but some players can adequately compete at that level, and it's okay, but again, I don't recommend they pitch at that level yet at 11. But I think a great age or a great candidate for playing up would be somebody coming off of that 50-70 or even a 46-60 that played there this year that is going to be forced to play on that larger field next year. It's a great way to kind of get acclimated in the fall. But having said that, I think you also should measure your success on what happened this year. If you kind of struggled a little bit, no matter what level you're at, if you kind of struggled a little bit, didn't hit real well at that level, still had some defensive struggles, maybe some arm strength issues, you don't really feel that you're developed, it may not be a good idea to push yourself and play up at another level, even if you're going to be forced to play at that level next spring. There is nothing wrong, and you shouldn't be ashamed, but staying at the level you're at for the fall and continue to develop your skills and, for the most part, get a lot of playing time. If you're going to be one of the older players playing in this fall, then chances are you will probably get a lot more playing time than you will playing up a level. So again, so many players and families we come across feel like that it's a taboo that you stay at that same level for another season. Guys, it's only 18, 25 games you're going to play in the fall. It's a great time to let your kid, stay down, just stay at the level that they're at and develop their skills. So it just seems like this fall season, sometimes everybody's in a frenzy. Slow down, evaluate, your family situation, what your travel capabilities are going to be in the fall, and most importantly, just sit down, with your student or your son or your daughter, and evaluate where they were at this summer season. And if you really feel that they can use more developmental time, please don't feel intimidated. There's no shame whatsoever. My own boys, they're on a number of occasions elected in the fall season to stay where they're at and develop their skills for the next year. So But again, if you feel that you had a great season, you know, maybe your son or daughter wasn't kind of stimulated enough and you felt that they weren't challenged enough at that level, then by all means, fall is a great time to play up. You don't have all the pressures of winning that you do in your typical travel ball season or even at your community during the summer. All the playoffs and championships are behind you, and you can go up, play at a higher level, not feel those kind of pressures, and kind of prepare yourself for next summer. So whichever route you take, just enjoy it, take advantage of the opportunities. Don't get away from all the pressures that that go along with making these decisions, and just kind of do right by your son or daughter for where they're at right now, and do what's best for them now. Sometimes looking forward a little bit too far can almost hinder your learning and your development where you're currently at. So don't look too far ahead. Kind of evaluate where you're at now, what happened this year, and I think that'll help you make the right decision. Until next time.